Welcome to another episode of Obscured Reality. Join your hosts, Mark and Stephanie, as they take you through a journey of the extraordinary, bizarre, and often frightening world of the unknown. Explore topics of the paranormal, UFOs, alien abduction, lost civilizations, mythical monsters, and other unexplained mysteries. Come along with us as we transcend into another dimension of obscured reality.
Welcome back to Obscured Reality. Mark and Stevie back at you. And holy crap, we got a great show for you tonight. This is probably going to be one of my favorites. In the past, these have done well. We have told you guys one of the things we're about and want to be about is personal stories from you guys, and we've shared our own as well.
Yeah.
Well, tonight we bring you another personal story that is very recent, as in today, and we are recording on March 24th.
Mm-hmm.
So this happened today at Stevie, her home. So I have some clips to show you guys. The reason for the clips is
My
the
apartment.
audio.
Let's
Is
make that
the
clear.
audio. That's the reason of the clips. So you're going to get to hear some audio and let us know what you think.
First,
I know where I'm at.
I just have to say, please excuse the fucking mess in my apartment. I don't necessarily live there anymore. So it's like half packed.
Nobody gives a shit.
Yes. I just gotta put that out there. I'm sorry.
Anyways, we're going to have some video for you. Now, the purpose of the video is the audio. You need to hear what's going on. Now, I'm going to preface that with this whole thing starts with a text message, which we're going to see first. And I'm going to preface that with Stephanie has told us in the past that she firmly believes her home is haunted. And there could be reasons why, which I don't think she has mentioned in the past. However, we do know that back in the day, the Underground Railroad did go through South Bend, Indiana, which is right where her home lies. Now, we don't know if it went directly underneath, if that home was part of it or not. And who knows? Even if it did, doesn't mean it has anything to do with it. But
I'll talk about my suspicions about that when we get there.
I will say that when she told me about this earlier today and sent me the text message and video text message that she got from her neighbor, I got the chills, and I'm kind of starting to get them now too. So we have proof of something happening. Is it paranormal? Maybe. Is it not paranormal? I don't know. But this is where you're going to decide. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show this text message here. Bring it up right now. Okay. So I'll read this for you guys because I do have the text message in the video. However, that one, for some reason, the quality came out like crap on the text. So this is... We're going to get into some context after we read the text, because I got some questions for you, Stephanie, and we need to clarify before listening to the audio so we know what's going on. So this is a text message from, obviously, as you see, her downstairs neighbor. Downstairs neighbor text.
Who lives in my old apartment. Like, she lives in the unit I moved out of to move in upstairs.
So the downstairs neighbor's text is on the left in the black and white, and Stephanie's text is on the right in the green, obviously. So the neighbor says, "Is that you up there?" Stephanie says, "No, let me check my camera." Neighbor says, "If not, check your camera. Sounds like furniture moving." Stephanie replies, "I definitely hear something," meaning on her security camera, "but I can't see anything because it's only focused on my front door. I don't know if I have an animal that broke in from the attic that's going through ish." Neighbor says, well, noise has stopped, but literally sounded like someone up there moving stuff, like a heavy sofa. And then we got the rest of Stephanie's texts, which don't matter there. So I'm not going to read those, but we see in the first part, it sounds like furniture moving. This person didn't just jump to. Well, it sounds like this. Oh no, but maybe it sounds like her story didn't get bigger. She just straight up started off with, that sounds like furniture moving. And we know that has a distinct sound, or can.
Mm-hmm.
So
She
that
also
is
knows
interesting.
that, like, I don't live there. So when she hears anything, she reaches out to me every time. She's wonderful.
Right. So we have a distinct sound that she's claiming to hear, which I believe her. I mean, you don't, she's not screwing around with her. We know that. So we are going to start in just a minute with this. Stephanie, I got some questions for you first, just so we can lay out the context of the apartment, blah, blah, blah. This is an upstairs unit, meaning second story, right?
Yes.
Okay. And there's nothing above you.
There's an attic. An
Is
old
there
attic that has
another
one
home
entry.
above you?
No.
Okay. Is there on the second story? Is there any other home, apartment, anything bordering any of your four walls?
No.
Downstairs is your neighbor, and your neighbor lives directly below you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And are there any homes bordering your neighbor's wall?
Yes. There is
Okay.
a second apartment on the downstairs. There
Okay.
is a front unit and a back unit. My unit is the size of both their units.
Okay. So
Triplex.
everything's attached, and this other unit is attached to hers. Now, am I correct in my thinking? I'm just going off something that you've said in the past. This is actually a house, possibly,
Correct.
that was split into three.
Yes.
Right.
It is
Nothing was disconnected. They were just
Correct.
separated by walls.
Correct.
Boom. Here's three living spaces. Okay.
And then my unit got an outdoor entry.
Okay.
Like an additional. So the original side door is one entry for the unit I used to live in. The main front door is the one for the front unit downstairs, and then they built not me, but they built my unit an outdoor entry.
Okay. Now the attic is above your part.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is other than in your home, is there any other access points to that attic for a human?
No.
A ladder, stairs, anything?
No.
Okay. There is, I would assume, an entrance to the attic from your home.
Correct.
Okay. That's good to know. That would be inside your home, right?
In a closet in my bedroom.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
No, it's freaky as shit. What the fuck are you talking about?
Trying to think here. Okay. Your camera is facing your front door and your kitchen on the left. Is that correct?
The entry to my kitchen, yeah. So like a sliver of my kitchen.
Front door to the right, kitchen to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. We're going to get into it, guys. We're going to go ahead and play the videos. We have 3 videos here. Now, the purpose of the videos, they're just a security camera inside the home. The purpose of the videos is audio. So you want to listen to the audio on the first video. We're going to go through the whole thing first, and we may talk during it, but I did turn the audio up on the video for you guys so you can hear everything. Stephanie, obviously I've already listened to the videos. However, we haven't talked about this yet, but I have listened to the videos. Without totally blasting over the audio of the videos, I need you to point out what is a constant noise due to traffic.
Yep.
And I need you to point out
maybe do this.
this would be better. So we can just listen to the audio and not interrupt it.
Mhm.
Every time you hear something that shouldn't be there, meaning this sounds of furniture moving, clanking, banging, whatever, anything that shouldn't be there that you think is part of this oddity, just raise your hand.
Okay.
So we have visual of that since we don't
Okay.
actually have to watch this video.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to start playing the video, guys. And I'm sorry for our silence on this one, but you're going to have to deal with that because you need to hear this. And let's start the video now.
That's my dog. See that one was hard just because there was a lot of my hand shuffling my I forgot to mute myself, so there was a lot of hand shuffling sounds. So the second one,
yeah, that's fine. We're just going to move straight to the second one. Before we do, what's the biggest thing you heard in that first video that you would say is the oddity that we may want to be listening for? Going into the second
stepping,
video,
like walking sounds almost.
Really?
It's mostly walking, but also banging, of things getting moved. But it does sound like someone's walking around moving.
Now, what I took from her text sound like heavy furniture. I took that as kind of sliding, like across the floor, which I hear a lot of in there, and I can't tell the difference between cars, a louder car, a faster car driving by, or
in my hand,
or this oddity.
Well, a lot of it for the first one was my hand sliding on the phone as well. Because I was the first one's kind of a terrible example, but the second one.
Okay. So we'll go to the second one. We're just going to go right in the second one. Again, let's not talk. Raise your hand anytime you hear what is odd, okay? Just so we have an idea. All right? And here we go. You're talking about that tapping or steps. Okay. And you're going to hear Stephanie talking in this video, saying hello. Just so you know, it will be loud.
I'm shaking.
That's all the odd noise, right?
Hello?
That's when I started freaking out, dude.
Who is in my house? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Okay, so I watched the video a few times now, and I still find myself sitting there staring at it as quiet as I can be, looking for anything to move. And I see nothing, but I did want to
I'm
point
so
out,
thankful
guys,
nothing fucking moved.
we're not going to go along the whole look at the orbs in the video route. Obviously, those are dust particles, and you will see light flashing by from the window on the right,
Cars, yes.
and those would be sounds like cars, probably reflection of sunlight off the
Yes,
cars.
there is a literal main street outside of my house. So yeah, light reflections are very normal in that room, simply
Yeah.
due to the angle in which everything is set.
Now, in that second video, and we have another one here. In that second video, can you describe what sounds it was hearing that were odd? It sounded like the steps or tapping or whatever that was. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't notice any shuffling or anything that stood out from the obvious traffic.
Mhm.
So, was that video just those what sounded like steps or something banging?
Yep.
That's all that was. Okay.
Mhm.
We're going to talk when we're done. But let's move on to the next one. Now, keep in mind that the second video I just showed you was at 10:45-ish in the morning today. This is now 7:15 at night, East Coast. Okay, yeah, East Coast,
Yeah.
7:15. So here we go again, Stephanie. If you wouldn't mind, each time you hear something odd, raise your hand so we got a visual on it. Here we go. Obviously, you can see the timestamp at the bottom to verify that, guys. Jesus Christ. Oh, I just got the chills.
That's motorcycle.
So I heard something in that one. It sounded like we heard the steps or the banging or whatever that was all throughout the third one as well. However, there was a very distinct sound in there that when I heard it sounded to me like a chair or a cabinet being slid across the floor. Was that one of the oddities in there?
Yes.
Yeah?
So here's the thing. I have a very large, very heavy, not attached two-piece wood hutch in there. It's not something that you can move lightly. And when you're when you're looking at the video, like when the doorway into the kitchen,
Mhm.
there's the wall going to the front door. Yeah, there we go. The wall that has the picture of the lighthouse. There we go. Words. I'm severely freaked out by all this. On the back side of that is where that hutch sits. Now it is heavy. It is full of shit because it is my main junk drawer. Each drawer is a
Mhm.
different version of a junk drawer. And then I have a whole bunch of shit sitting on the top part. Now, again, that cannot be moved very well.
Well, it doesn't even sound like that. It sounds like something light, like a chair.
There's nothing.
It sounds
there's
exactly like when you
nothing-
take a
there's
chair
nothing.
and just
I
pull it
don't
real
have
quick
chairs in
across
my
the floor.
kitchen.
Yeah,
So-
but with stuff like this, you don't have to. That doesn't even matter.
I know it was
you
freaking
know,
me out. I know, but they need to know that I don't have chairs in my kitchen.
Well, it doesn't
Like-
matter because there's nobody there. So whether you do or not, where the fuck are the sounds coming from? It's just like the footsteps.
Yeah,
Obviously,
and
we know there's no people
obviously
in
my
there.
animals aren't there. They're here with
Right.
me.
Right. So I want to go through video 3 one more time. I'm going to play the full thing, just the third video. Okay. I'm going to turn the volume up so Stephanie and I can hear it a little better. For you guys, it'll stay the same. And I'm going to point out to you, Stephanie, so pay attention to me, when I hear what I think sounds like that chair sliding across the floor. That way you guys can see what I'm talking about. And if that is a true oddity in this, we're going to verify that right now with Stephanie. So let me play it again here. And you tell me when I raise my hand if I am correct or not, okay? All right, here we go. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was it.
I'm going to stop it right there. We're stopping at 457. Let's go back to 450, 445. And we're going to start again from 445 just to hear that sound one more time for you guys. Here we go. Oh, I get the chills listening to that. So, that's it for the videos and audio. Okay. I mean, I'm kind of at a loss, right? This is one of those things where it's like, yeah, you hear stories all the time, right? And I think we've heard enough from enough credible people to come to the sense that there could be something to this whole paranormal thing. There's a lot of people who really believe it. There's a lot of people who don't. There's people who are in between. It is what it is. But I think we've heard enough from credible people. But when you experience it yourself, or you know someone that does, and you get proof of that, and obviously a trusted person, it sheds a whole nother light on it as well.
I just want you guys to know that I don't ask for this. I don't want to deal with ghosts is like, I love old houses, and I get that the ghosts come with old houses, but like when I'm there, then I don't hear it. The noises don't exist when I'm there. So this is
So that's a
well, I
good.
guess. No, scratch that. They wait for me to be asleep before they start making noise. That's the whole thing. How I found this all out was from. I literally have said this multiple times on the show. I record myself when I sleep because I say funny shit, and that's how I caught the footsteps the first time.
And we
Freaking
are
freaks me out.
going to have to get some recordings from her at some point. Because we need to see. But so there is nothing on the exterior of the house that you could account for making any of those noise, like the banging, like maybe someone tapping gently with a hammer or nail in, right? There's no work being done on the house. There would be nobody would be there. Your
No.
downstairs neighbor would obviously know if
Yeah.
that was the case.
So obviously she asked me if I was up there.
Yeah.
Obviously I was not. The other person who rents the other apartment in the house is not there all that often. It's more of a storage area for
Well,
him because
Doesn't
he
matter.
owns
He
like a
doesn't
gas
have an
station.
adjoining home to you. It's to the downstairs person.
Well, they share a wall, but his ceiling is my floor. But
Okay, so
I
hang
don't
on.
hear him.
Hang on, because that kind of
Yeah.
is different from what we talked about at the beginning. Who lives directly below your floor? Both of them? Okay.
Yeah, I told you it's a triplex. It's a split house.
Okay, so
They're all conjoining.
so
technically.
part of his is
Mhm.
below you and part of
Now,
hers
however,
is below you, right?
his part is under just my living room and my bedroom.
Mhm.
My kitchen, hallway, bathroom, boiler room, and second bedroom, and all those closets are all my original apartment, her apartment. So from like where the kitchen hallway area is, where the sounds were coming from, that technically would have been her apartment underneath that particular room. The
Right.
camera is set up where his apartment is.
Okay,
But the sounds were
now,
not coming from that area.
but is there even really a way to tell where those sounds are coming from?
I feel like they're coming from the kitchen area.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, though. Our apartments are really, really well insulated. It's a house that was built in 1895. It is very well built. And I blast my music as loud as I can on my Alexa, and she doesn't hear me downstairs. Like the few times she has heard me, she told me to turn it up so she could hear it better. And I'm like, I can't turn it up anymore. And like I don't hear her. The only time I can hear her is when she and him are arguing on the front porch and I'm in my room because my room is literally their front porch, like where it sits at this time. But other than that, I don't hear them. I have never, ever in the 3 years I've lived there heard the dude downstairs
Okay.
in the third apartment.
What-
Ever.
What do you think the chances are of him being home at the time of this and doing something like hanging a picture or installing something in the ceiling?
No.
Okay. And I'm
He
going to tell
doesn't
you
live
why
there.
I think the answer is no, is because we have a huge time gap in these videos and we're hearing
Not
the
only-
same
yeah.
things. So
not only that, but he, like I said, he does not live there. He uses it as a like storage unit. Like the few
Mhm.
times I have walked by to go to my stairwell to get up, I have to cross his doorway. The few times that he has been there and like his door has been open, of
Mhm.
course I'm gonna peek in. I'm fucking curious. And like it's just totes upon totes and boxes of like product you'd see in a fucking like gas station because that's
Yeah.
what he owns. He owns a gas station. Like before he went all weirdo and tried to like grab me out of my car, that's another story for another day. He tried to like befriend me and was like he was trying to give me like expired muffins from his gas station. And I was like, thanks. That's when I lived downstairs, and then he tried
Okay.
to snatch me out of my car.
Well, he
So,
is
no,
not
he
the
doesn't live there.
paranormal ghost, so we'll drop him for now. The first video that we played for you guys was at 10:30. The second one about 10:45. The last one was I forgot what time, 7:30ish.
7 something.
So
And then I have another one from like an hour or so ago.
So we have a huge time gap there, yet we're still hearing the same sounds. And I also want to point out the sound that to me sounds like a chair, something piece of furniture, a light piece of furniture moving across a hardwood floor.
Which I don't have.
That type of sound, to me, it sounds very distinct. There's no mistaking. It sounds like someone just pulled a chair like a foot, right? Just dragged it like a foot. That sounds very, very distinct. If that's what that sound is, how are you going to get that sound from someone downstairs, right? That audible, that clear. You're not. So
No.
It's kind of interesting. So all the noises we're hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm hearing two different types of noises, which are this like tapping or a very light banging type sound, possibly steps. Sounds something like one of those or a mix. And then the
Almost
other
like-
type, the
Yeah.
other type of sound
Almost
I'm
like digging
hearing,
through a drawer.
the other type of sound I'm hearing is that one part in the last video that sounded like a chair being moved. Is there any other sounds we're missing?
No.
Okay, now the one your neighbor described, I thought I heard that in one of the first videos, and I'm guessing I didn't. It was probably a car, but she sounded like a heavy piece of furniture. I'm thinking like a couch on carpet being dragged, just going. We didn't hear any of that in there. Okay, so those were cars.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm assuming is like she heard a sound, waited for a moment, texted like to see if she'd hear it again, heard it again, texted me. I was like, no, but by the time I checked the camera, it might have been done. It might have just been like a
So
shuffle, like
you-
the chair. I don't know.
The way it plays out in my mind is that the noise was loud enough and distinct enough that first off, my guess is she knows you're not there right now.
Correct. That's why
That
she
noise,
wanted to ask.
whatever she heard was loud enough and distinct enough. In my guess, she probably texted you immediately and said, "Are you there? I'm hearing noise up there, and I know you're
That's exactly
gone,
what happened.
and I don't know you're back." That's
Because
odd.
she always looks for my car.
Yeah. So interesting. What do you have to say about this, Stephanie? Today's events.
I told you guys. Y'all didn't want to believe me.
Speak up. You got a
I
microphone,
said,
girl.
I told you guys you didn't fucking want to believe me, and you probably still don't believe me, but fuck you. I'm not lying. Like, I don't want to be bothered by ghosts. Like, I have been followed and bothered by ghosts my whole life, and I just wish it would stop. So,
Well, so
we don't ask for this. Like,
you said some of the sounds you've recorded when you've been sleeping. Have any of those sounds sounded like what was in
Yep.
these videos?
Footsteps.
The steps, yeah.
Yep,
And
the
those
steps, yeah.
they almost, to me, kind of did sound more like steps. Some of them maybe not so much, but a lot of
In
them
the
really sound
pattern
like
of
steps.
how they came through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're the one that triggered this whole thing for me of like me being like, my house is fucking haunted. Like, I thought it's just as haunted as it was downstairs. I thought I like escaped all that craziness, but whatever. Was from the one of me sleeping, and I was like, I guess I was having a really crazy week of dreams because I had been talking a lot and I was going through it, and it wasn't like a talking one, it was more of like a grumble. And after the grumble, it like records for a couple more seconds, and I heard,
Yeah.
I was like, the fuck? I play it again, and
Yeah. So what is the possibility of like a bird being on the outside wall of your particular living unit making noise? For instance, on our
No.
second story master bedroom, we have a fireplace in there. We don't use it. But because we're on the second story, obviously the top of the chimney is right on top of our ceiling, right? On the roof. So we have the metal flashing that's all over the top of the chimney. And the crows used to come and sit up there in the middle of the day, and you could hear it downstairs, the tink, 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 tink. I have since put up a device, and they no longer access that chimney. But what's the
We don't
chances
have
of a
that
bird
problem.
or something on the outside of the house causing any of that?
Never had an issue with birds
Yeah.
on the outside house. The only time I've ever
anything.
had an issue with like animals and my house is
Mhm.
in my old bedroom that is currently the office right off of the kitchen, which if you zoom in hard enough, you can actually see the door.
Mhm.
That has the old chimney that comes up through it from the downstairs apartment, from where the fireplace is boarded up behind a wall.
So there's a chimney
Times.
that comes up through your portion of the home from downstairs. However, the
Mm-hmm.
downstairs portion is boarded up, so it cannot be used or accessed.
Correct.
Is it
And
sealed,
there's
boarded up, or is it just like there's a piece of wood in front of it?
oh no, there's a fucking like whole ass drywall, paint, and probably some
Oh,
furniture in front of it. Like they
okay.
probably don't know it exists. The only
Gotcha.
reason I know it exists is because a portion of like one of the corners juts out,
Mhm.
and it's fucking solid, and because
Well,
it's a
the
fucking
other-
cinder block.
The other reason you know it exists is because you see a goddamn chimney on top of the house.
Well, the chimney that comes up out of the top of the house is actually really, really short,
Yeah.
and the house is really tall, and
Yeah.
the way it's
Hard to
positioned
see.
and where it is, it's hard to see because
Yeah.
you don't get a lot of space between the houses. So, and no one looks up at the top of
Yeah.
houses, just weirdos like me. So the only issues that I've had with the chimney is that from time to time, only a few times really, like squirrels sometimes get in there
Right.
and try to nest and then realize that it's a terrible fucking idea. And then like they're gone. Like I hear them. I've heard them a handful of times in the 3 years that I've been there, and most of the time it's always Kaya who's like alerted me to it because I don't hear it.
Mhm.
It's just her staring at the fucking corner with like her ears like this, like,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Then I'll be like really quiet. I'm listening, and I'll hear.
And
I'm like,
stupid question, but obviously your chimney is made out of bricks, right? Not drywall.
Cinder blocks.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get those types of sounds coming through that anyways from something inside. I mean, I could be stuck on the inside of that chimney right next to your head and knock on the blocks, and you're
I
not,
ain't gonna
the
hear
sound
you.
you're going to hear isn't a normal knocking. If anything, it's going to
No.
be very dampened as well, most likely. So
Yes.
yeah, so I'm not
Yes.
saying I don't trust you. I'm just trying to cover different bases
Oh yeah,
on
no.
what about
Let's
something
talk
on the
this
outside
out.
wall,
Like,
you
let's
know,
talk about that.
shit
Yeah.
like that. So
Mhm.
here's my problem with it all in trying to explain
and
any
bats.
of it
I've had
away,
bats.
and trying to explain any of it away is that
Mhm.
those are some very distinct, clear sounds,
Mhm.
and
Oh yeah,
they sound like they are inside.
my house.
And inside either that room that the camera's in or the next room, which is the kitchen.
The kitchen.
There's
Yeah.
also a door we saw on the very left between the camera and the kitchen. When we talked before the show, wall number 1.
Yes.
What does that
yes.
door lead to?
That door leads to a small closet that has a skinny window in it.
Okay.
It's kind of like a coat closet.
So you do have technically another space very close to the
Yes.
camera that you could be getting the sounds from. And I think it's
Not likely though.
well, I think it's important to note that just because you hear something that sounds like a chair moving across doesn't mean there's no way, because I don't have chairs in there, right? It's just like footsteps.
Mhm.
Well, then how would you hear footsteps if nobody's in there? But you clearly hear something that sounds like fucking
Mhm.
footsteps,
Yeah.
right? So it
On
could be
the
coming
other
from
side
anywhere, you know?
Of that closet is another closet. It's the pantry for the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an old little like sitting room, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know, that got sliced in half. Like even the window is literally cut in half with the
Yeah.
fucking wall they put there. They did the most horrible hack job to that house when they separated it.
So in to enter your home, there is no access other than one point besides windows.
Correct?
But just
No.
the one door. So
And not even windows. Like you can't climb up
Yeah.
any part of my house
no,
to get into
you
my
need
windows.
a ladder.
Yes.
Yeah. So your front door, so your security camera,
Terrible for fires, but yes.
this ring camera, whichever ring it is, my guess is, if correct me if I'm wrong, if there was motion, it would alert you and record it.
Correct.
Okay. And you've not
Yep.
gotten anything saying there's
Negative.
motion or anything We obviously
Correct.
know there's nobody in the house. There's no animals in the house. There's nothing.
Correct.
Nobody's come through
Correct.
that front door.
No.
And
I really wish someone had.
Yeah, and
Actually, no, but
other than the possibility of someone coming through the front door, you've received no motion alerts like, hey, we've detected
correct.
motion, even though the front door remains closed. Nothing.
Correct.
Okay. Freaking weird. I mean, you see videos and hear these types of things all the time. You hear audio in videos all the time, on the internet. And how do you judge what's real, what's not real, what someone is just lying about, right? And I'm telling you, she's not lying. This is a real thing. She's been concerned about it for a while. This isn't, something to make up
I
a
have
show.
literally talked about this since I moved into
Yeah.
my apartment downstairs. I literally would block my basement door with as much shit as I could find because in my brain I was like, the more shit I put there, the more the ghosts can't get out.
Yeah.
Because shut up, it just made my brain happy.
Well, now what you
Like-
you made a comment that this has been happening all of your life or most of your life.
yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So I have always felt like presences of maybe not so friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And also like I've seen like I've always had like the shadow people. People can have their debate about shadow people, but like I'm pretty solid about it. Because I don't see them everywhere. I've seen them only
Yeah.
in certain houses, and it's like, well, that doesn't explain like
Let
why.
me ask you a question
I-
on that.
Yeah.
These shadows, are they always in your peripheral, like
Yes.
off to the far side?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
I'm not trying to debunk you, but I'm
No,
saying
but
from
yeah.
an experience of my own, that is most likely your vision, your brain.
Oh, okay, good, because I don't like it. It freaks me out.
So I did a personal story on this once on the shadow thing. I've had that issue where after walking the dog at night, this was a few years ago, I come back, put the dog in the house, I go for a walk, I come back, and I back my car into the driveway. I would stay outside and cool down and relax for about 5 minutes before I come in the house. And I would lean up against the front of my car, so I'd be facing the house on the corner directly across the street from me. So I'd typically be looking straight. I would be looking at the front corner of his house. And so I'd typically be looking at the corner or just to the left. And I almost every single time would see what looked like black, a shadow, something moving around their front door area, big, huge area they have right there. And I've seen it all the way up to the corner of the house. And also once along their wall that goes kind of by their front door out to the sidewalk. And it was enough that after this happening so often, I mentioned it to Mike. He was over one time and we were outside talking. I'm like, dude, listen to this. This is probably nothing, but just hear me out. The house across the street, right? And I tell him the story and he's like, huh? And he looks over there and he just stares over there for a minute and he's like, he kind of jumps and then he runs to the driver's door of his truck. And I'm like, what's going on, dude? And he wouldn't even talk to me. He goes in, gets something out. He got his glasses. He put them on. He came back and he just stared over there. I'm like, what the fuck did you see? He goes, their back wall, where the wall meets by the front door and it borders, the front yard and the backyard. That wall goes out to the sidewalk. He goes, I saw something dark that looked like it was in the backyard, like sticking up above the wall, going towards the sidewalk. And I was like, dude, you gotta be shitting me. And we looked, I walked over there. The neighbor was not in the backyard, nothing, because I've seen his head popping up here and there. So I've had my experience as well, but what I've noticed is it's, see, there's oddities with it though. Okay. The first thing I will say, it's always been in my peripheral, but my peripheral off to the right, never the left.
Ooh, interesting.
However,
Not me.
I don't see it in my house when I'm at home, even when I'm sitting home just working or staring at a goddamn wall. And I only have seen it in that neighbor across the street in his front yard area, right there by the front door, that whole 10 to 20 foot squared area. But it
Well,
is
there you
the
go.
peripheral, and you can Google it. That is possibly and probably having to do with your vision. And it may be lighting. It's always at night.
I've seen them at night.
It's always at night for me.
No, I've seen them in day. I've seen them at night. I would see them in my childhood home, but they're like once we moved to Ann Arbor, I
Mhm.
stopped seeing it. Didn't see them at all in that house. I do
This is
see
all
them.
shadow stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
I do see not so much shadows, but like almost like animals on the corner of my eye. Sometimes, like, I swear on everything, I see like a cat go by me, or I swear to fucking God, the other day, when I actually, the last time I went back to my house, like when I set the camera up, I was sitting there in my room. I didn't have my animals with me because I had I had my dogs with me. I didn't have my cat with me because I couldn't find her carrier, and I just didn't want to deal with her crying the entire fucking drive. So I left her here, and I'm sitting on my bed, and I swear on everything, I heard my fucking cat cry, like in the same room as me, and I was like, I swear to God, skinwalkers, dude, skinwalkers.
Yeah.
But
And some
no,
of that can be
there's-
attributed to the brain. This is so that
Yeah.
sounds no different than when someone dies, and this doesn't happen to everyone, but some people, I fuck, wish Mike was here. I'm pretty sure he told me a story about when his mother passed away, and they were at the funeral in this room, and he was in the back of the room, which was like separated by a wall from the main room everyone was in for the funeral. So it's like a waiting area, and I swear to God, him or a relative of his heard something having to do with his mom. It was like her name or something like that. It was weird. But you hear those things happening, and what a lot of people, and I'm assuming some testing, I'm not positive on the testing thing, but one of the things that's been attributed to possibly is you're used to that noise all the time. You're used to that person's voice all the time, right?
my roommate today
Mhm.
came up from downstairs and was like,
This is the
"Did
female
you?"
down.
No. So in this house that I currently live in,
Okay.
we are renting a room out to a friend, and it was just me and him in the house today. I was upstairs watching TV. Had been watching TV for a while. He comes upstairs. He was like, "Did you just say my name?" And I was just like mid bite, like, "Huh?" Like he was like, "You didn't say my name, did you?" And I was like, he was like, "Oh my God, that's so weird. I heard you say my name." And I was like, "No." So I mean, like, everyone in this house has experienced something. Matt has, Matthew has, Kevin has, I have, like, everyone has in this house. But like for me, from my experience, like with the shadow people, it's not just like in my childhood home. It's like random homes that I've lived in. But like, yeah, the older ones I tend to see them more simply because like I feel like maybe I am a little bit more sensitive to the spiritual world because I am, a little weird. I am a little different, and I don't know. I have no problem perceiving
there's-
and accepting different things that, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I guess I'm more like open mentally to it.
There's been a long-standing idea that it follows people as well. So not
God, I
necessarily
hope not.
you're just hearing it from different places. It's that something's following, right? And if you're saying this has been happening since childhood, what have you been seeing since childhood or hearing or whatever, other than shadows? Anything?
Animals,
Okay.
just shadow animals and shadow people.
But they're all dark. They're all dark black, right?
No, so some of the animals were actually white.
Okay.
Can't explain it.
What about weird experiences other than the noise or seeing, not noise, but seeing shadow
Seeing noise
stuff?
Look, if I was seeing noise, that would be a totally different story.
I see noise now with a new system I got put in my car. I definitely see noise now. And it's great.
That's amazing.
I know what I've
That's
been missing
fucking
for
amazing.
decades.
Oh my god! Look, anything to recreate the experience of standing at the gate of the Rammstein concert, like I will put money into having my soul just lifted by the vibrations and like carried away. I would pay so much money for that.
So other than shadows and
America,
animals,
Rammstein.
what have you been seeing or hearing since
Well,
the beginning
um,
when you're young?
it's always been like a sensation of like being not being alone.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone who grew up by themselves, like as an only child, uh, that's kind of unsettling. So like I'm used to being alone. It's not like I'm used to like my parents weren't like helicopter parents either, so it doesn't come from like a subconscious like, oh, are they watching over me? Are they
Right.
watching me? Oh god, you know it was the 80s. Carol and Literally let me like literally just they were like, oh, you want to ride your bike 3 miles to school? Bet. You want to rollerblade to school? Bet. Like you want to walk to school? Bet. So it's not like a subconscious helicopter parent thing. I just always felt very uneasy in certain parts of my house. Actually, my parents and I talked about this when I went to go see them the other day. They totally forgot that our crawl space even fucking existed. And I was like, yeah, no wonder you guys forgot because you never went into it. I had to go into it because I'm the only one who fit.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to explain to them step by step how to go into our basement and get to it. But they were talking about how they were always creeped out by basements. And I was like, yeah, I was like,
Who
and how
isn't?
they would always run up the stairs. Huh?
Who isn't?
Yeah. Well, I mean, their basements, they were like, well, you don't get our basements were different. I'm like, okay, boomer. But I granted, yes, they were dirt basements. Like, but I still think that our basement was super creepy just because I always got a really unsettling feeling from certain areas of the basement. And for no particular reason.
And it
Like
was
one
a
of them was
fully
actually my dad's
furnished,
workroom.
a fully furnished basement.
Yeah, it
Right.
was.
And
Well,
you got the creep factor when you were down there or when you were up by, say, the stairs going down to it.
The entire time. I would
In
run
it.
the fuck up those stairs so fast. So fast.
Why?
Because I always felt like I was being chased out of the
Now,
basement.
did you run up the stairs like, hey, it's time to leave the basement, and you start going up and you're like, shit, I feel like something's watching me, and you're going up, or you're just down there hanging out and you're like, oh shit, something's happening, I need to leave?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
So
sometimes sometimes like when I'd be playing video games, like my back would be to where the staircase is, and I would be sitting on the floor and I would get uneasy and I would get up and I would move to a chair where I'd be like angled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah, see, yeah, I mean, I can't argue that, but I can't, you know?
Yeah.
To each person, it's different. I get the same feelings, but to me, it's a sense of, yeah, I don't like having my back to open walkways when I'm in an enclosed space. It
doesn't bother me in restaurants. It doesn't bother me
well,
anywhere
yeah, but
else.
in restaurants is also different because you're surrounded by a bunch of people. So it's a different feeling.
True.
It's a different atmosphere. And for me,
yeah, but it's my own house. I should be comfortable enough where I shouldn't get creeped out.
No, because you never
And
know
also,
who's around that corner. You never know what's
should
around
a
that
child
corner.
really be feeling these feelings?
I think it's natural. We're animals, right?
Yeah.
It's a protection mechanism. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't see the dark hallway behind me. I can't see what's in it. Even though I know every door in my house is locked.
Every time.
I know every door in my house is locked. I know nothing and no one is in here, and I know it's impossible for anyone to get in. I still have a hard time walking down that dark hallway. Even if it's dark in front of me, not a big deal. It's the dark behind me.
You never know if someone broke in. You never fucking know.
No, even if you had a 4-walled house made out of brick, no windows, and your door is locked, it's dead bolted, and you got to drop down 2x4 in a metal latch to it doesn't matter.
Fair.
My point is,
you know
nothing and no one is in there. Your back is to something dark. It's always been an issue for people. And I think that's
I don't even like going down. I didn't like going down the stairs. My mom would be like, go get this from the basement. I'd be like,
Yeah, I don't
No.
like, I've mentioned before, I'm not going to go into it too, long on that, but, my wife's mother's house, their basement, I hate
Mhm.
walking by the stairs that go down. If the
Oh
lights,
God.
if the door's open, I close it. I can't stand it when the light's off.
This basement here doesn't
And
bother me.
even with the lights on, walking down the stairs is a temporary issue for me if no one's down there. The reason why is because you have half the stairs going down are blocked by the side of the house. And as you walk down, your feet are now in the open area, meaning if there were someone down there, they could see
They
your
could grab
feet
your
as you come
feet.
down, and then your legs up to your knees, your thighs, your waist, your stomach up, right? So you're going down and you're coming more into the view of the downstairs basement. So even with the light on, I still feel weird walking halfway down the stairs until I can see the
Yeah.
full basement. But I think that's just a
Yeah.
natural mechanism,
Oh my God, that's
it's
how our
safety.
house in Ann Arbor
Yeah,
was.
well, it's a fucking basement,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So that's all
that's
it
how it.
is, I
That's
think.
kind of how it is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it
But
is to me.
yeah, no. We have a half wall for the staircase here as well. Yeah, but the basement here doesn't freak me out at all. Like I can come down here no problem.
Yeah. I would look at the design of it, look at the design of the stairs and how they go down and all that and see what you think. But back back
Mhm.
back to your paranormal at the other place.
Yeah.
So anything else weird going on there that you've experienced other than the sleep and what we heard today?
I mean, there's times where this could also be just my brain. There are times where I will lose things,
Mhm.
and I know for a goddamn fact where I left it, and I will be searching my house up, down, left, right. I will be like, I will stand over a table and look at every fucking thing individually to make sure I checked that area because I have to. I will be going insane, and then I'll come back and check one of the areas that I've previously checked, and guess what the fuck is there?
Yeah.
The item that I've been looking for. And it's just like, is this ADHD brain, or am I getting old, or is something fucking with me?
Yeah.
Because I don't appreciate this.
It's a good thing for you it's not the 1920s because you'd be locked up getting tapped on your skull.
Look, if this was the 1920s, I would have been given a lobotomy fucking
Yeah.
decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now,
If not a lobotomy, they would have sent me off to one of. Actually, you know what? Not gonna lie, that's why vibrators were invented, because they thought that that shit could
why
cure
are you
hysteria for
whispering?
women. Because I'm like, I don't want to say it too loud. 'Cause I got dudes outside the door,
Okay.
and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck are they
So
talking about?"
vibrators were invented for performing
To cure
lobotomies.
hysteria. No, to cure hysteria for women, because they really, yeah. So,
Yet the hysteria still
apparently,
continues.
I know, right? No, oh God, I feel really bad for people who didn't need lobotomies, who got lobotomies because they were just unique and not actually mental, like Mrs. Kennedy,
Yeah.
Miss Kennedy. Yeah.
Well, okay. So nothing else crazy you've heard
Nah.
over there at that place.
Honestly, it is usually generally very quiet when I'm home and awake. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, other than things like randomly missing and then showing up.
Yeah.
Again, it could just be my brain. It could be something like teasing me, fucking with me. But
Well,
yeah,
we
that's
all
it.
heard it in the recording. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
we need to look into getting a better audio recording device to just
Well,
leave
I'm going to
on
be
at
headed
that
there
place.
tomorrow to check on everything, and I'm going to be repositioning the camera
Yeah.
into the kitchen.
It's not going to matter.
So
If you're going to hear the noise, you're going to hear the noise. I don't even think it'll matter. You should reposition it. I'm just saying, you're still gonna we're still gonna hear it. It's gonna sound the same. We're gonna be like, what the hell?
Oh, I know, but
You know?
I just want it in my.
I want a camera in each room, in the back corner, facing the doorways in each room, getting the whole room in video. That's what I want. Yeah,
Oh, I should.
because that's crazy. Well, Jesus. Obviously, like, share, subscribe, comment. Want to know what you think about what you heard in those 3 videos, mainly the last 2 videos.
Yeah.
Car noises aside. But
Mhm.
more importantly,
We do know what ones are car noises.
yeah.
Like let's put that out there.
More
We're very
importantly,
aware of what's traffic.
similar to tonight's show, if you have a personal story of your own, and tonight was a perfect example of that, send us an email with your story to obscuredr1@gmail.com. It just popped up a minute ago. Type story in the subject line and let us know your story. If we will tell the story for you on here anonymously if you wish. If you want to come on, it's super simple. You can come on, tell your own story, and we can have a talk. That would be better,
Quite
more
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
But shoot us an email. Seriously, I'm not the only one who has had an experience with something, not paranormal, but Stephanie is not the only one who's had things happen that would be considered paranormal. Ghost just jumped out of the wall there. And we know plenty of you have had experiences, and you know, there's no denying what you know, what you hear, what you see. You hear it, you see it, then you heard it or saw it. But it could be anything, right? And we don't know. So if you have those stories, I mean, let us know. Tonight's is a perfect example because we all got to hear these sounds. And to me, just my opinion, there's some very distinct sounding sounds in that audio that are, to me, again, seem undeniable. But what the hell could it be if there's nobody in the home and no animals in the home? What the hell could it be? Everyone lives below and there's no bordering walls. It really sounds like it was something in that home. How the hell do you explain that? I can't explain that. And you don't hear it when you're there. It's only in audio recordings, whether you're there or
Yes.
not. But you
Yes.
never audibly hear it yourself.
No.
So weird. I think what you need to do is buy like 10 vibrators and lobotomize those ghosts.
That would be an interesting way of doing it.
Might need to be done. Well,
Possibly.
maybe we can get Zach Baggins
Maybe
in
I'll
there.
put them. Oh God, no! Please, no, no.
Hey, it'd be a perfect time, especially since you're not staying there. So, I'm just saying. And I'll point out again, I mentioned it really briefly at the beginning of the show. The Underground Railroad back in the day saving slaves and stuff. That ran through there, through South Bend. I have looked. It's hard to get a specific locations of here's where it went underground, but I'll look some more into it because if I find it went under that street, I'd be very curious and interested in that.
So here's the thing. I could see it being part of it, maybe like as a like temporary stop house, maybe not like an underground part, but like I don't know, because we're really close to the river, but at the same time we were in the middle of town. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
It would be really interesting to find out.
what I would do, is there a basement in that house?
Yes. It's
What
terrifying.
I would do? Yeah, well,
Blech.
is the entrance to that basement in the females?
Females.
Good. I would go in there, have her go down there with you, turn the lights on, and see if you see anything that look like doors, anything patched up on any of the walls, to see if you may have some type of entrance to Underground Railroad. Just saying.
I can tell you already that it does not. When you walk initially down the front stairs, there's like a half round room that then flattens out into a square room where the foundation is. And then there is a wall with a door right on the left hand side at the bottom of the stairs that goes into the creepiest room of all. And that is it's just a square room that has like a divider in the middle of the right hand side of it. So it makes like this super creepy, very dark areas. The only things that are down there are like boilers and shit like that.
Well, what I'm saying is you'd look for something
But
that looks like it
no,
might have been patched up or revamped
there's
later
not even
on.
I can't even find
you
where
know.
they patched up the coal chute, dude.
Yeah.
Like I've looked for the coal chute.
Do you know who the owner is?
Huh?
Do you know who the owner is?
No, and I will reserve my statement on that. Like, I know where they live.
Uh-huh.
I know that they are not American. And I know that the management company is withholding their name because they know I want to take them to court.
Okay.
So,
we'll talk
yes.
offline. So, all right. That's tonight's shows. Again, like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Obscured R1, OBSCURED R1 at Gmail. It popped up on the screen before. Show us an email. With that being said, I and Stevie are out of here. Catch you later on the flip side, ghosts and ghouls.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back with us often for new episodes. Feel free to drop a comment and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.